Thank you, Lizzie. Hey, Joe, you did get the picture I sent you, right? Of Trump's quote. Did I send that to you or not?
I don't think I got any pictures. I just got links today. So.
Okay. I'll go back and look at it.
That's from Truth Social, I believe. If that's the one you're talking about.
Uh-huh. I just sent it to you, but okay.
Alrighty, I'll be looking for it.
Is that me again?
No,
No, that wasn't me this time.
that's me.
Testing.
1, 2, 3. The show before the show. Getting all the sounds fixed.
Just making sure we had sound.
Right. Kind of need that.
I sent you a second screenshot, Joe, okay, regarding some polling.
Okay.
You done Christmas shopping, Vic?
Well,
kind of.
You need money to shop.
This year, you should just,
That's why Bad Santa's my power animal this year.
I understand that. I think Bad Santa is a lot of people's power animals this year. Can't just go to the store.
We'll be doing shopping next year.
Yeah. You'll get double the presents next year, kids.
No, I don't want that to come across as anything negative.
No. Well, I'm like, did you see the liberal that said due to climate change, she wasn't buying her 4-year-old and the 7-year-old presents this year due to climate change? It's like, what was those little kids going to do? Come down the stairs and see no presents?
Mike, I sent you one more picture with this guy named Mike Johnson. Have you ever heard of him?
Are you talking about the speaker?
Yeah, he's DeSantis's campaign manager. I'm telling you that everything was it was a setup from the start. And it's why it makes me wonder about Matt Gaetz again. I'm sorry.
That's a different angle.
They're the same.
Most people are taking, because people say that Mike Johnson is a very far right Christian conservative
who hates Trump and who is out campaigning with Ron DeSantis's people in Iowa.
Right. He reminds me, Ron DeSantis.
He is
it's the Cruz people.
He's one of those people that talks out of really both sides of their mouths. You can't trust him. Oh, hey, come over here. And he's stabbing you in the back. His left hand is on your shoulder. Hey, how you doing? Shaking your hand. His right hand is jabbing that knife right in your back. I'm sorry. I call it from the start. The Republicans suck.
You did. Yep.
Why is he out campaigning, taking pictures, smiling with Chip Roy, who and these are people who are not going after Colorado for what they're doing to Trump.
Correct. And we're the only one. You're the only one talking about this, because most people.
Yeah, they are.
No, they're not. No, they're not. Most people are just talking about how the media is picking on Mike Johnson and the fact that he's a Christian and talks about Christianity and purity to their kids.
No, he does. I
get that. And he's a good person. But as far as politically, he's a backstabber. And so
it's just you can't trust him.
He's a Democrat and conservative.
The problem is he's in Iowa yesterday with all DeSantis people and taking pictures, and we got the picture, specifically with politicians who are against Trump.
I know. It just kills me. Yeah.
In Iowa. That's the thing. You don't do it in Iowa.
Right. And Sherry's saying, did you see that Chip Roy went off and cussed the MAGA people? So, I mean, you're not
I didn't
wrong.
see the specific one, but he does it a lot.
He does do that a lot. But what you're saying is not what most people are saying, Vic. They're not. Even the most conservative pundits are acting
well, then they're not diving deep enough.
Well, it's very surfacey. And that's why I like
I don't want to, I don't want us to rip other people. It's just.
Well, other people are great. They are. They're great. It's just a different angle of what you look at, because I didn't know.
The angle of truth?
Right. The angle of truth. You have to dig deep for the truth these days. You can't just read a headline because they don't.
I've got sources.
I know you do. We both got sources, and we got some good sources.
Hey, everybody has sources.
They do. Just that's why this show. Sources is.
That's why we like the live aspect of this show. This is a show before the show for Cancel This. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Pro Joe, all in the house, getting ready to start our show. Oh, it's hard. Yeah, we started late. Forgive me. We got to start the show. Let's go.
We just kept talking.
Hey guys, welcome into Cancel This, cancelthisshow.com. I'm Vic Faust with Lizzie Sparks, Pro Joe in the house. Grateful everybody's jumping in today. My, oh my, how time flies by. Thursday, December 21st. Glad everybody's here today. As always, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central, and all the time on our website, cancelthisshow.com. We got the news headlines, the politics, the interviews, the cancel culture education, our business reports, and of course, tomorrow's Free for All Friday. Kelly Mano back in the house, Eric Johnson back in the house, Scott Vaughn during the first hour.
Oh, love that. I'm so excited.
To talk politics. And the thing about Scott is he's like, bring it on.
He's like,
you got any of those far right MAGA people making politics crazy for everybody? Let me know.
And I think he thinks I'm one of them. But that
he's like, I'm just a hillbilly from Southeast Missouri trying to do my best. Scott is arguably the most connected man in the state, knows more about Missouri politics because he's there. He's in the towns he's visiting from the MissouriTimes.com. Love to talk about realities in politics. Mm-hmm. We all have an idea of what should be happening in politics.
Correct.
I want to talk to the people. And you should know with your son-in-law.
I do. I've learned a lot from him. Things that I'm like, Justin, go get that done. He's like, that's not the lane I'm allowed to be in.
Yeah, you go do that.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's not my lane. I'm staying in my own lane.
Yep.
We appreciate you jumping in on the live cast as always. Your information, your ideas, your stories, all of that. We always thank Derek Pratt when he fills in. So Megan has been doing some filling in.
Yes.
Megan Marie from Facebook. Thank you. She's doing a really good job.
She is doing fabulous. Her and Derek both are delightful human beings. I love them both so much.
Well, Derek has done his own show.
Yeah.
Down in the Lou.
Yeah. He's doing a great job with that.
From the get-go, we've all been telling Megan she needs to do her own show.
Absolutely. Well, Derek came in and he knows so much about the Lou, and we told him, you need to do your own show. And I'm just kind of helping him out, and he can take that show on the road himself. He's so great. Megan's another one. She should do a sex trafficking show. She is so knowledgeable.
Yeah. From the moment she jumped in, we could see,
agree.
You should be doing this, and who knows?
I agree.
Maybe that'll happen here in the future. And if anybody has interest in doing it or not, let us know. Vic at cancelthisshow.com, Lizzie at cancelthisshow.com. We'll explain it to you. We can try to help and explain what happens and how we can help you do your own thing.
And we literally do that because if somebody's struggling with their show or something or needs some help, here I will jump in and help them with their shows, like me with Derek, and we've both helped Wesley, and it's great. So,
and the Football 360 show is rock and roll. And Wesley's show is the Wolf of Washington, Slightly Right. So
love their show too.
We're grateful for all of your guys' help when it comes to that. Special thanks to our partners, Amini's in the Chesterfield Valley, and they can help you no matter where you are, get you information. When it comes to saunas, infrared saunas, and the saltwater hot tubs, but the saunas, what they're doing for people and their health is absolutely amazing. And we have the links for all of the websites. And just to get information on our website, canceltheshow.com, under partners, canceltheshow.com under partners. Complete Auto Body and Repair. Curtis and his crew did something really, really cool. They provided a vehicle for a woman who needed it this Christmas time. I
saw that.
Yeah, Fox 2 did a story on it.
Yes.
Just a very heartwarming, heart-jerking, tear-jerking story. So, Curtis, great to you. Complete Auto Body Repair. Everything for your car from A to Z. Experienced Real Estate Partners. Kathy Obig Strick. Steve Strick with New American Funding, powered by Score Mortgage, on the show yesterday from Cabo, recharging their batteries. New Age Health and Wellness still kicking butt. If you have any questions about that, click on the link on our show as well. Route 66 Cannabis. Ham Ra was here yesterday. The Midwest premier cannabis shopping experience as well, from the Ostara brand lines, which are in hundreds of stores across the state. Solar City STL will be back in the studio at the start of the year. They're slammed, busy dealing with everybody going to solar energy. So many people are doing it because it makes sense. I have a friend who asked me off air. He's like, what's the number? They called, they checked, they looked into it. It made sense. Mm-hmm. They use enough energy. They're like, yeah, this makes sense. It totally makes sense for me, and it pays for itself. Strategic Air Services, the premier private transportation provider in all things aviation, aircraft management, concierge services, acquisition. Hey, we broadcast live here. We see it every day. It's a company that is just kicking butt, doing very well. If you want to be a pilot, be involved in the aviation industry, it's a place to be. WeQuip, of course, the peer-to-peer rental marketplace where renters can go to search for items they need that their neighbors might not have. Anything rental. You can rent your own equipment, and you can sell your own equipment, or whatever may be the case. And of course, Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley. Great time. They're packed all the time.
All the time.
Especially during the holiday season. Mm-hmm. And when I say packed, it doesn't mean you can't get a table. It's just there's a great energy there.
There is.
From pizza, burgers, wings, smoked meats. It is the holiday season. Okay, we are Cancel This. I'm Vic. She's Lizzie. Projo still doesn't have his camera up, so I'm going to ride his butt on that for a little bit.
Megan's riding his butt, too.
Yeah, well, she should, too. We all should from that standpoint. Thanks for jumping in on the show today. One thing right out of the gate that's really frustrating and pissing me off, people, if you don't see right now what is happening in America, and I know most of our listeners and viewers do when it comes to the podcast, the whole Colorado situation with the Supreme Court, 7 liberal judges, all appointed by liberals, in a 4-3 vote, of course, 2 nights ago, decided to, quote, take Donald Trump off their ballot. This is what they have gone to because they can't beat him. It is interesting to me, though, that even 3 of those liberal appointed judges said, we can't do this. Mm-hmm. It is wrong in the worst way. Now, the Supreme Court's going to overrule it. I bet it'll be a 9-0 decision. I mean, they're going to crush that. But once again, this is what the media does. The media takes the message from the Democratic Party. And I'm sorry to my Democratic friends, but this is wrong. This is warfare. This is election interference at its worst level, and it's not stopping. Oh, can we get some traction here? Can we try to dent the man even more? It's going to be overturned. We'll let you hear what Ron DeSantis had to say about it. Now, DeSantis doesn't agree with it, but he is refusing to take his name off the ballot until that wrong is righted, where you have other Democratic politicians like Vivek Ramaswamy, who's saying, I'm taking my name off the ballot. Mm-hmm. I didn't hear about Nikki Haley.
Yeah, I haven't heard what she said. She's not going to take her name off the ballot. She can't stand him. She's establishment. She's going to be there loud and proud. She hopes they put him away.
Joe popped it up. Here's what Ron DeSantis had to say when asked if he was going to take his name off the ballot. And I credit Vivek Ramaswamy because this is how you play the game. He is aggressive. He is proactive. And in my humble opinion, he put Ron DeSantis in a really bad spot. Now, we all know it doesn't matter because as long as Donald Trump is alive and breathing, he's going to be the nominee, regardless of all of this crap that's going on. Ron DeSantis is a dead man walking, and I hate saying it because I like him. But when he continues to get put in these bad positions, he's showing a lot of chinks in the armor. A lot. Now, if you like Ron DeSantis, you're like, oh, this is a great decision. If you don't like him, you do not like what he says here.
Mm-hmm. 2024 presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy saying he will remove himself from the Colorado ballot unless Trump's eligibility is restored. Would you do the same?
No, I think that's just playing into the left. I think the case will get overturned by the Supreme Court. but I've qualified for all the ballots. I'm competing in all the states, and I'm going to accumulate the delegates necessary. That's the whole name of the game. And
2024 presidential candidate Vivek.
What do you think about that, Lizzie? Because I don't like the answer.
Right.
Once again, he's really put between a rock and a hard place, no matter what he does, because you can't compete against Trump. Because as soon as you enter your name into a race with Donald Trump, there's not an R next to your name. There's an L next to your name. It means you're going to lose the election. You're going to lose the primary. You're going to lose. You can't, anything you say can and will be used against you. I feel bad for him, but he knew this was going to happen before he ran.
Absolutely. He had to have known that this was going to happen. And I'm disappointed in Ron DeSantis because I do like him. I've been disappointed from the point that he was running against Trump after Trump helped him. I understand that there's no loyalty in politics, but there's a shame that there isn't. And I didn't expect any different answer from Ron DeSantis. None at all. Because he knows that when Trump gets elected, or if they steal the election and he's not, there was going to be no place in Trump's cabinet or in his administration after he has, been in a big, fight with him. Where Vivek, on the other hand, he knows that there will most likely be a place for him in Trump's administration by playing it this way, because Vivek knows he's not going to get elected. DeSantis did have a chance. I don't think he does now, but I think the people behind DeSantis are telling him to say this so that they can continue to try to get Trump convicted so DeSantis has a chance. And that's the only way he has a chance right now.
Heather says if they were all true conservatives wanting the best for this country and its citizens, they will band together and say they will back whoever the nominee is. That 100%. Is correct. But here's the problem. Because there's a lot of money at play. And once again, no candidate, no president has ever forced people into their corners more so than Donald Trump. Do I like it? Yeah, I like it. Mm-hmm. Some people don't like it. They call it divisive. What it does is it starts to shine the light in that dark room to see who is going where, who really has your back and who doesn't. That's the take I see with the Donald Trump. We start to open up things. We start to open those doors that were closed. We shine the light in the dark spots. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of politicians who don't want that to happen.
Correct.
And we see it more and more. And we're going to get into some things with Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, who is frustrating the hell out of me as well, because he really has me wondering if he has America's back. I know he doesn't have Donald Trump's back, regardless of what he says. And there's so many politics at play, politics that are happening. The thing that is happening right now, Ron DeSantis, I did not like his answer. However, he is right.
Yeah, he's not necessarily wrong.
Here's what's going to happen. It's going to be overturned. Mm-hmm. This is all for show. And guess what? This is not the last time it's going to happen.
Correct.
We have told you on the show, there are going to be so many arrows shot at Donald Trump. It's not over. Who knows what's next?
Yeah.
They're going to continue. The deep state can't allow him to be president because we know the polling numbers are showing it. They are scared shitless at what is going to happen if Donald Trump makes it. We obviously know Joe Biden will not be a nominee. There's no way in hell. We all know it. Even Democrats. I talked to a Democrat last night. He knows Joe Biden is not going to be the candidate. And when the Democrats that I know that are telling me that, they know. But then I'm like, well, aren't you concerned? And they're like, no, anything but Trump.
Yeah, I can't stand that. But that is, you're right. They're like anybody but Trump. Even the Ted Cruz type never Trumpers are like that too. Anybody's better than those two. Those two are terrible, meaning Biden and Trump. They put him in the same category because they're tired of him. They're all butthurt over both of them. One is the economy and the other one is the way he tweets. They can't stand it.
Well, he has the whole tweeting thing. Once again, you know how life is. You do something and then that's how people remember you, regardless if that's not who you are. Mm-hmm. And no, orange guy, he's not orange. Oh, he's not even a mean tweeter anymore.
He's not even tweeting.
We're about facts on the show. We're about truth, and we're not going to toe some line because somebody wants us to toe the line. We're going to bring you the truth, hardcore, raw, and real every day. That's what we do on canceltheshow.com, and we're also going to speak freaking truth in every situation. All opinions are welcome as always, and just bring some fact, back your opinion, and be polite. Don't be an ass. Bring your opinions. If you know Democrats, liberals that need to bring in their opinions to the show, have them come. We'll talk. We'll give you the links to join us live as well. And we have some Democrats coming on the show in the future. We will see. Mike says, I liked Nikki's response. I didn't see Nikki's response, so I don't know. If anybody has that, you feel free to post it or tell us. Donna says Ron did a great job during cupcake season. Of course he did. and through the hurricanes. Of course he did. And with parental rights. Of course he did. But he still won't be my first choice.
Mm-hmm.
Of course he won't be, because you are enlightened and you know who the candidate's going to be. It's Donald Trump. And that's why these attacks these are things that have never happened in our country in what? Oh, since the year 1860.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Abraham Lincoln. This is the best response that I saw with Donald Trump. Donald put out this message through Truth Social about what is happening to him in Colorado. Now, the thing is, this guy is so amazing, Donald Trump is, when it comes to the attacks and his ability to just be Teflon Don and just move right through it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, he's the strongest man I know. I don't know who is another stronger man than Donald Trump. And there are people who go, oh my God, they're probably throwing up. Think of everything that this man has been through. Look at the amount of money he had when he entered the office, and now he has lost money. Then you look at the 2030, it's about 35% more that Joe Biden has made and Kamala Harris has made since they've been in office.
Mm-hmm.
Millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. And then you look at all the politicians in Washington. They're all making money once they become politicians. Donald Trump is losing money. Yet he continues to stand. I'm going to lose money. I'm going to lose credibility with certain people. I'm going to be attacked. My family's going to be run through every sort of bad situation you can imagine. But you know what? I'm still going to go out. I'm still going to be there. If you don't see that is what this country needs, that is a true American, or as Lizzie says, a true patriot, then you're being dishonest. You're being disingenuous about what is going on. This man, Donald Trump, is blowing my mind on a daily basis. Here's what he had to say in that quote that we just had up regarding what is happening to him. Quote, the last time the Democrats took someone off the ballot, 1860. They would not allow a man named Abraham Lincoln to be so much as mentioned in slave states. It's a great comparison.
It really is. That tells you all of it, all of what's happening to him. It now compares him to Abe Lincoln, not because Trump said it, but because what's happening to him is very similar. It really is.
Not to get off the path, but from a viewer, did you see that Hunter did show up when subpoenaed and he was seen getting out of the helicopter at the White House? Yeah, that was a few days ago.
Yeah,
he was at the White House. It's once again
with this little backpack.
There are no rules for the Bidens right now. That's what's happening to this country. We don't want you to yell and scream about it. We're just telling you what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to talk to your politicians and try to put pressure on it, which is why you can't allow what's happening in D.C. to continue. There wasn't any of this crap going on when Trump was president. All there were media members, deep state members, people with a lot of money who have bad intentions for this country trying to get them out.
Yeah. Well, and getting back what Mike was saying about Nikki Haley, she said, and I do like her response now seeing it, I will beat him fair and square, Nikki Haley says, after Colorado court disqualifies Trump. The last thing she wants is judges deciding who can and can't be on the presidential ballot after Colorado's high court ruled former President Trump is disqualified from the primary ballot. See, that seems okay to me. I'm going to beat him anyway. She's not, but I like that particular statement. That's a good statement. And I didn't think Nikki would have said that. I appreciate that.
It's fine. It doesn't matter. This is the thing. And I mean, I even had my Republican friends and people who listen to this show messaging in our text message, oh my God, they're going to keep Trump. I'm like, hey, don't worry about it. Don't get overexcited. It's not going to work.
No.
It's another headline. Our old buddy, Drew, messaged me.
Oh, get out. Did he really?
Yeah, you guys lose again. So I messaged him back.
Yeah.
I played. I said, how much you want to bet that this is overturned when it goes to the Supreme Court? Doesn't matter. Like, whatever. It's like he doesn't even, it's like the Trump derangement syndrome.
A win.
Yeah, the Trump derangement syndrome hits these people. I don't know what's happened to their brains, how they've been programmed. But it was funny to get a message because he thought it was going to happen. And it's not going to happen.
Right. It's not going to happen.
And you can win all the small battles. It's the big battle that
The only battle and the reason that this was, and Democrats know this isn't going to work. They don't. And all of you viewers and our listeners, you guys are super intelligent. And together we make up one strong ass team.
Mm-hmm.
We know it's not going to work.
Right. We know that.
It's to try to get Republicans first in the primary and then people around the country to start questioning, to hate them, to, oh, we can't stand, look at what he's doing. This is bad. He's not going to be there, to doubt that Trump is he's going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And these ploys are not going to work. And they're going to continue to pile on. They see that the indictments are not going to work. It's not going to keep him out. It's just not. So what do? You move on to something else.
Correct.
And there is a team working 24/7 to make sure that Donald Trump does not see the primary and then see the White House or any election before then. That's what their goal is. And then when you look at what's happening as well, it's not stopping there. Now we have ultra liberal Democrat Lieutenant Governor of California coming out and saying, we're going to petition to get him thrown off the California ballot.
You knew that was coming. You knew that.
Then you have Texas politicians saying, well, then we're going to throw off Joe Biden out of her ballot in Texas. This is all a shit show. It's all theater. It's what it's meant to be for all of us. It's wrong. It's not going to stop. It's going to continue. 2024 is going to be a crazy ass year. We know that in a variety of ways. And here we are just trying to maneuver it. We're just trying to maneuver through these rough waters as best as we can to try to get the information out, trying to teach you guys, inform you guys, trying to be informed and taught by our viewers and our listeners as well. But don't let all of the crap that's going on mess with your opinions, mess with your views, because this is what's going on. It's not going to stop. I mean,
it's going to keep going on and on.
I don't know what the next attacks will be.
Yeah, we never know. Well, sometimes we do. Sometimes it's pretty obvious, and other times you don't know that it's coming. But they've been trying to orchestrate this for a long time, and that's why some good conservatives are exhausted. That's their intent, is to exhaust the conservatives. So now some people that had been Trump supporters know darn well he did a great job is now like, I'm just done with the drama. Maybe Nikki will be okay. Maybe Ron DeSantis or Vivek or whatever will be okay, because then they're not going to be as exhausting and have all this divisiveness. But what they don't understand is, yes, they will, because the Democrats will do it to whoever it is next again.
But the problem is I don't hear Democrats having a problem with what's going on. It's almost like, oh yeah, because Democrats, you're afraid. You're scared because you don't like Donald Trump. Fine. You don't have to like him. You don't even have to vote for him. You can vote for who you want. But you know deep down inside that Biden can't beat him and that Biden has to leave. And you know that Biden has been a disaster. You can try to lie and add other things to he's a great president. He's just old. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. All you have to do is look around what's happening with our country right now. There isn't anything that's good that's happening. They're going to continue to come after Trump. Democrats know. And I think they're happy when they see that.
I think so too.
When they see a Colorado Supreme Court go rogue.
Well, they feel like the Democrats are saving them from the orange man.
Yes, that's exactly. I mean, still, isn't that bizarre that you said that, Joe? Because that's something people were saying back in 2015, and they're still saying it. They have nothing else. That's why they are just screaming and yelling and carrying on, because they have nothing else.
Well, it's ironic. It's the ISIS war cry battle. Accuse others of what you're doing. If there's anybody that should not be on a ballot, it's Joe Biden. When you look at all the crime family action that has been taking place, when you look at documents, you look at receipts, you look at checks going into his family and to him, and there's no record of it. And Hunter Biden trying to, quote, cover it up and say, oh, these are loans. Really? Where's the terms? Where are the papers that were signed? They're not terms. There's not papers that are signed. This is all the illegal activity that's been going on. But people a lot of times don't want to do the research. They don't want to dive. And it is ironic because the people who don't think that there's crap going on or just say, oh, whatever, are the same people that will say you have the tinfoil on your hat.
Yeah, I'm told that
they're the exact you guys are just, you're out there on an edge. And then they're the ones that are just sticking their head down in the sand.
Correct.
And they're the ones that are like, wait a second. Maybe they're the ones that need to go see a shrink. Maybe they're the ones that need to clear their brain.
Yeah.
Maybe they're the ones. Yes, because they don't want to deal with the truth, or they're lazy, or they're just selfish with the wonderful life that America has given them.
Yeah, that I agree with everything that you just said. The ones that scream and holler the most about anybody having tinfoil on their head are the ones that just sit there and Netflix and chill. They don't say that much and they just carry on. It's like literally a train wreck.
No, it is. These are the kind of things that happen. And it's one of those things where it's like, you get into the whole side of what's going on. Hey, Joe, we had a guest. And guess what? I forgot to tell you about that. I screwed up. That was my fault from that sense. But we have Dr. George coming in. I'll explain that.
I love that
in just a second.
That's a good surprise. If you forget something, that's one of those good things because then it's like a great surprise, like a Christmas package.
But this is why we want to talk about when it comes to politics and what's happening in America.
Yes.
All it is we have situations. Yes, we have situations from other countries, the Marxism.
Yes.
We have the communism that is trying to be put into this country that we're all trying to deal with right now.
Yes, absolutely. And it's hard to deal with. It's hard to grasp it. And that's why the ones with their head in the sand, they don't want to come up out of their little moly hole and come out and be like, oh my gosh, this is a scary thing, because they don't want to see the truth. So it's easier to name call that somebody's crazy or a far right extremist or they have tinfoil on their head when that's anything but the truth. Now, are there people out there like that are tinfoily and make up stuff? Most of those people that I've met that are like that, they're in two camps. They're one that they're so disappointed that the election was stolen, that they've put themselves in a place to feel better, almost making up stuff of what's going to come next. Or just like the very far right and the very far left, they're not all in there. They're not. There's something mentally wrong with that. And excuse me if I offend anybody about that, but the truth doesn't make you a tinfoil hat person.
No.
It's just the truth. And that's what's really going on. But people don't want to say that. So you have to be careful, even with the people that are conservative. If you're like, oh my gosh, Donald Trump's going to come back tomorrow. He's going to come back. The military is really running. And so Trump's really running it. Show me. I'm from Missouri. Show me the truth. That's why Vic and I come at this with the absolute concrete truth, not just speculations. Now, if we think something, we'll say that. We'll say, we think this is going to happen. But we have sources if it's something that we just don't think.
Todd says, let me get Drew's number. I could use my $100.
Yeah. Well, you won't see Drew
at one point in time. Yeah, at one point he had advocated for somebody being killed, which is why we took him off.
Well, and he's only been taken off of Facebook. I do know that he pops up on Rumble and YouTube under fictitious names, but so far he hasn't gone that far and said he's going to cut somebody's head off.
Do we let him back on? To rile people up.
Let's ask our chat line. Chat line, do we let Drew back on or do we not let him back on?
And by the way,
so
Joe,
you let me know what you think. So go crazy on the chat line. Yes to Drew or no to Drew? Because Vic didn't take him off. I did. And it was the reason why I took him off. And I hate that. That's the only person I quote canceled off of Cancel This is because I have proof and know that Ashley Babbitt was murdered. So when you say she deserved it, needed her head cut off, that was it. That was it.
The polling. It's funny. Hey, Joe, whenever you get set up, no rush. You can bring Dr. George in too.
Yeah. So Megan's saying that she misses Drew. She used to sit back with her popcorn and watch an amusement. Then I see from Kimberly, no. And almost the whole chat line is no. But then I see Robert is
we had him back
yes,
on.
back
That's
on.
Funny.
Megan's again saying yes, back on. The majority is saying no.
Well, it also gives you an idea of people who are on the left, how their brain works.
Yes.
That they actually feel as if a Joe Biden is still competent. They don't feel as if there's a problem in America. They don't feel as if Marxism and communism is infiltrating this country. They don't feel like illegal aliens are going to affect our country. They don't feel like they're affecting our economy. Mm-hmm. They don't feel like any election can be taken. So, it's, I don't know. I know we riled people up and we always say everybody, Derek calls it the shit show. Yeah. We want everybody's opinions. And that's what we've always said. We've just never advocated for anybody advocating for murder.
Well, that's correct. And like Kimberly says, she doesn't mind a different opinion, but he's just a bad seed. And that is, and maybe he really is a bad seed. That's the only thing I will cancel. You can disagree with this show till the cows come home until you're like, okay, we're going to kill you. We're going to murder you. I mean, come on. come on, that goes over the line. But he wouldn't promise me. And how many times I warned him? I warned him like 27 times. Don't say that again. And he did it anyway.
Well, one of the best dermatologists that you're going to find throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area is Dr. George. And I always, is it Harza?
Harza.
Okay. And I love this guy. I don't even know that you know how much I love this guy.
I don't know.
Because I followed his campaign. This dude is the best. You just made my day. That really was like a
They stole your election from you, doctor. They stole it from you.
100%.
You just didn't know this yet.
No, oh my gosh. I love him so much.
You're native Czechoslovakian.
Yes.
And you've experienced a lot of things that people have no idea what it's like to grow up when your life is being controlled. Unfortunately, when I've talked to you off air, you see some of those things happening right here in the United States now.
Well, then that's what's so crazy. You were mentioning a cancel culture, for example. It's something that, something new. Well, I mean, my family experienced it in 1956. My mother was listening to Radio Hungary. And she was a professor at the university, at Charles University, and told a friend about what was going on there when Russians invaded. The friend then told her superiors, and my mother promptly lost her job was fired from her job at the university, at Charles University. So that's cancel culture for you. That's just one little sample. But yeah, I grew up in a setting where you had indoctrination, censorship, government terror, deprivation, because of course there's no private property, there's no incentive to work. So, and that's the kind of stuff that we seem to be popping up left and right in the United States nowadays.
When did you come to the United States?
We came in 1970,
okay,
so a long time ago.
And you see what's happening in politics. You want to run for politics. Do you still want to run for another office? And remind people what office you ran for.
So I ran for Missouri State Senate last year, and I'm running for Missouri State House this year.
Good.
And I wasn't successful last time. Won the primary, lost the general. So I'm trying again. And the reason I'm running is because of all this socialism, Marxism that's infected our country. My mother, before she passed away, she said, like, we came here to this country for that freedom and opportunity, and we've certainly lived it, and are living the American dream. And what's happening is really damaging. Basically, she said, where can we go? Where can we go now? Because it's coming after us here.
Yeah. Isn't that scary to think that, I mean, the other side of this for sure. And I am so pleased to hear that you're going to run again. You are in an area that it could have gone either way because it's not totally right. It's not totally left. And I sure hope that you make it this time. I will definitely come out to your campaign events again. I don't live in your district, but I care that much about where you live. And it's awesome.
Well, the other thing people need to know too, we haven't even talked about it. You're the son of a Holocaust survivor as well. And there's a lot of major worldwide events and news going on from that standpoint. You've seen what has happened. You've experienced some of the atrocities that we're starting to see now as well.
Oh, it is. The October 7th is, I think people don't realize how traumatic it's for Israel, but this is something that is there. It's coming here too. I mean, the Hamas terrorists, they are not there just to kill Jews in Israel. They want to kill Jews everywhere in the world. And in fact, their paymasters in Iran consider Israel the little Satan. The U.S. is the big Satan. So they want to kill not just Jews, but just anybody who's an infidel in their mind. But I'm going to mention, excuse me. So being a son of a Holocaust survivor, what to me, some of the images that I saw is what was so heart-rending. And I mean, I know you've heard about all the terrible things that happened. The one that stuck in my mind was the watching that music festival when those the festival goers were running and being shot. as they were running. I mean, over 200 were murdered, and the reason that for me it felt really close to home is because my mother, when she was deported from Hungary to Austria, she survived a death march, and at one point in the march, they were going through a pass. It had been raining. There was mud in the ground, and all of a sudden, everybody started running, and they were told to run. And as she was running, she started seeing more and more. The mud was turning red, and then she kept running, and she kept seeing people started falling left and right around her. Ultimately, 500 out of the 2,000 people were murdered in that one pass. And to me, when I saw these consequences running, it was just like, wow, it's like back. I mean, this was the worst event, worst murder of Jews since the Holocaust.
Yeah. And we've talked a lot about it too, Doctor. Can you remind people what area you're running for Missouri State Rep again, so that and we have a big web of people who listen, not only throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area, but across the country. But getting the word out, letting people know that you are running for state rep, where you are and what you stand on. So maybe there's listeners and people in your district.
Sure. Well, so my district is Central St. Louis County, which is Frontenac, Town and Country, Des Peres, Huntley, some unincorporated St. Louis County, the part that voted not to be annexed by Manchester, and a little eastern sliver of Chesterfield.
And you come through, do you have primary competition?
And currently, I'm not aware of primary competition, and we'll see.
And the rep and what about on the Democratic side?
I do have an opponent that's declared on the Democratic side, and so I'm looking forward to a lively campaign. And I think on the issues, I think I'm on the right side of the issues, and certainly to represent my district.
Is that district currently held by a Republican or a Democrat?
Yeah, it is currently a Republican district. It's held by Dean Plocker, who's the current Speaker of the House.
What separates you? What issues really excite you? Because you've done a lot when it comes to medical as well, and we all know that medical seems to be changing on a daily basis when it comes to all kinds of issues that we deal with when it comes to our healthcare.
Well, so before we go into healthcare, I mean, my main issues are running on individual liberty, responsibility, and opportunity because of my background. If you look at the issues that matter to my district, to the voters, really it's got to do with public safety, crime, respect and support of the police, and make sure that criminals that get charged and convicted actually go to prison and not just have a revolving door. Yeah, I spoke to a Kirkwood police chief, and he told me about a gentleman that was arrested 19 times for felonies and did not spend one night in jail. And to me, that is a problem. So we need to address that. The economy, of course, we got inflation, which, yes, it's slowing down, but the problem is the prices are still way too high, and they're not coming down. And so I'm a big fan of low taxes to keep more of what they earn, so that they can then they can do what they think is best with their money rather than the government. They're better at that. And keep regulations, keep the government out of really our everyday lives as much as possible. On education, I'm a big fan of kids having having choice. So school choice is really important, because some of our schools are really suffering and not producing, not really getting kids well educated, and having that choice like my kids did. I was able to afford to send them to various. I had them in public school, parochial school, private school. I think every parent should have that opportunity. And then when we go to healthcare, yes, my big thing is affordable, accessible, high quality healthcare using free market principles. That's the key thing.
But how does that work though? Because it's what you just said sounds great, but how do we make that happen? Because our government right now is far from that, or trying to be far from that.
Well, hopefully having more solid Republicans in government who dearly want to do what is the best for the state, in my case, for the country if you're in Congress. I think too many of our legislators pay attention to what their next election is and for their special interests, and instead go to focus on what will overall move us forward. You want specifics? Well, there are plenty of little, I can get into all kinds of little details on specifics, but
no,
that's good.
I appreciate that. And we didn't have a ton of time with you, but while we were here, one thing that really just gets me, because you see a lot of Americans who are asleep at the wheel, don't you? When it comes to, everything's just great in this country. And it's always been that way. And it's always going to be that way. We can't talk about communism, Marxism coming here because it's already here. And don't you see that? Because we've had guests who've experienced communism, Marxism, these ideals in other countries, and then come here and they're waving the flag going, listen, you guys don't understand. This stuff is here. And if you don't have the patriotism of this country, there are forces at play that are going to try to remove it. And they're removing it right now before you know it, it'll be gone and there'll be nothing you can do about it.
I totally agree. I mean, it is here. I mean, when you talk about things like victims, oppressors, that's huge. And that actually is classic Marxism. And it's just different victims and different oppressors. BLM, Antifa. If you look at what they're doing, is they're basically saying they're putting groups against each other, and that is how Marxism works. So instead of saying we have a merit-based society, everybody is viewed as an individual, that is what made this country great, the individualism. That's why it's in my little motto for my campaign. That's what it's about. And instead, you set one group against another, or you say, well, the victims are the ones that are better. I mean, think about what happened. I mean, it came to the forefront with the incredible seemingly rise. Well, it actually was there, anti-Semitism on college campuses. It is there because of the indoctrination that those kids have experienced, saying, well, there are groups that should be lauded, the victims, and then, of course, everybody else are the oppressors. And so in this case, they decided the Palestinians are the victims, and therefore anything you do to them, think about it, that it's okay to rape, gang rape. I mean, doing all, I don't even want to go, but it's just like,
no, it is. It
is just unbelievable but then when you talk to those kids, 2/3 of them have no clue what it means to say from the river to the sea. They don't know what river, they don't know what sea.
They don't know about the annihilation of Jews that means.
Correct. They don't even know.
The other thing that I saw too, and this is, since we're on that topic, is the standpoint of when you come in contact with people, if they don't have an open mind, it's going to be hard to open their mind when it comes to that subject. But for me, thank God I see it clear as day. And I know I have it clear as day. When you don't see, quote, pro-Palestinians condemning Hamas, and you still hear or watch them say, we've got to have a ceasefire. People don't even realize, Israel's offered a 1-week ceasefire for they have to offer a ceasefire for 40 hostages. And guess what? Hamas turned it down. Where's all the, quote, pro-Palestinian love and lovers calling out that? Nobody's calling that out. That's what's total BS. So there is nobody who has any ground to stand on when a ceasefire comes in. Nope, we're not going to give up our hostages after we did what we did on October 7th. You give us what we want or we won't talk. Yet there are people who are still saying this bogus pro-Palestinian message, yet they will not stand up to Hamas. It's a lie. And your actions speak louder than your words.
Exactly. And the crazy thing is that Hamas is actually terrible for the Palestinian people. They brutalized them.
They elected them. Yeah, they elected them.
They got elected, and they would actually be reelected. And that's because of the success of indoctrination. mean, when they teach in school there, they will, in math class is, you have, there are 10 Jews standing there. You shoot 7 of them. How many Jews are there left to kill? That is a math problem in schools there. So those kids then, of course, grow up and it becomes a problem.
Well, it all is divisive, that's for sure. Before we let you go today, too, can you remind people just again of a website and how they can get more information with you, and how they can learn more?
Sure. So I can go to haruza4missouri.com. So it's HRUZA for Missouri.com. That's the website, and you can go on there, send us an email if you want to kind of help out, or you can obviously also support me financially, because I do have an opponent in the general election, and we'll need to get our message out, because that's what it's all about, getting the message out. So haruza4missouri.com.
Love to see that stay a Republican seat. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because right now we need that more than ever, because there's a Republican there now, and I believe he's running for lieutenant governor. So that leaves the space open for you to run. And I'm so happy to hear that.
Thank you.
Dr. George, we appreciate you coming in. We'll keep in touch with you. And thanks for everything that you do from that standpoint. You came here. You've provided a lot for the St. Louis area. You've raised a family here as well. And you haven't been afraid to back down. That's for sure.
Great.
And I know it hasn't been easy, especially in the areas where you've been as well. So thank you again for a little bit of your story, and we'll have to get you back on at some point.
Great. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Dr. George Haruza, top-notch dermatologist throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area. And, of course, running for that district seat, getting a lot of compliments. Doctor was as well. So as the campaign season comes throughout this year in 2024, as we reach into it, we'll have different candidates on. And if there are candidates, whether it's a federal race, state race, local race, county race, whatever, let us know and give us their campaign managers, and we'll talk to them as well to see what we can do to make sure that we're getting all the messages out, because
Correct.
That's what this is about. And we have a platform that so many others don't, where we can do some more long form interviews and people can actually promote themselves, and you get to learn more about them than you would on just like a 30-second ad or a 45-second ad on maybe television or radio.
Yes. And it really lets you know the history of why they would be a good candidate or why not. They wouldn't. Like, you and I might have opinions, but that shouldn't be based on the actual candidate. And in this case, if you are a true conservative and he doesn't even have a primary, thank the Lord, that's really good. He'll be going up against somebody that it will be completely different than him, and their beliefs will be different.
Oh, especially
in that area. Yes.
Especially in Frontenac.
Correct.
And Town and Country and a sliver of Chesterfield, and
yes,
getting over into some areas near Webster.
Yes.
And Creve Coeur
and all that.
But it is, I'm just, so we're grateful for the time that George gave us today. It just scares me because we had Kasia on from Poland, and Donald from China, and George representing the Czechoslovakian and Hungarian. They all say the same thing, and they see it here, and it's like, people, wake up.
Yeah.
Wake up. Yeah. Wake up before somebody wakes you up. And right now, somebody is trying to wake us up with all the things that are going on in this country. But it's not hard to figure that out when you have people like President Biden. By the way, he and Kamala had blunders on the same day.
That is not surprising. That is not surprising. Humorous, but not
I don't know
surprising.
what Joe Biden was trying to say here. I think he was trying to say the old adage, dance with the date you brung, or something of that nature.
Yeah.
But this is where Joe Biden goes off track. When he doesn't have exact words for him to say, when he hasn't had his shot of adrenaline, when he hasn't had proper sleep, when he's not in his comfort zone. If anybody has any idea what he's trying to say here, please let us know.
I come from a state that has the 8th largest black population in the country. And as they say, the saying goes, where I come, you brung me to the dance early on. I come from a state that...
What?
I think he's got the 8th person in the black.
Can we play it a couple times?
It's the 8th largest black population in the country. And as they say, the saying goes, it has the 8th largest black population in the country. And as they say, the saying goes, where I come, you brung me to the dance early on. I
brung
come
me
from
to
a
the
state that
dance
has the
early
8th
on.
largest
You
black
brung me to the
population in the
dance.
country. And as they say, the saying goes,
Vic,
where I
bring
come,
me to
you
the
brung me
dance.
to
I
the
love the
dance.
eighth person.
Early on.
WTF? WT actual F?
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, the President of the United States of America, the biggest idiot this country has ever seen in a presidential office by far. I didn't think we'd ever see anybody more unintelligent than Bush Jr.
Correct.
And this guy,
guy's worse.
Holy shit. Is this the worst? The worst of everything.
Yes.
The worst administration, the worst president, the worst vice president. And I know you guys have heard me say it before. Guess what? This is the gift that keeps on giving, and it will continue to stay this. It won't get any better. If anything, it'll get worse.
Correct.
Welcome to America 2022, 2023. Oh my God, coming into 2024. And this is an example of why the Democrats, the deep state, are doing what they're doing to Donald Trump, because they don't have a candidate. I mean, who are they going to throw into the last minute? Gavin Newsom, or the only other name we've even heard is Michelle Obama.
Correct.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Kamala.
No.
This woman, I think you never hear, you should associate yourself with people who might be a little bit more intelligent than you if you can, or more successful if you can possibly get yourself into that group. I think Kamala Harris has become dumber.
I do too.
She has become dumber. She wasn't this dumb, this bad when she was on the debate stage. I mean, she wasn't good, but she has become dumb, just flat out dumb.
They got her on the same diet as Biden.
I don't know.
I think so too. I don't know if she's taking drugs or
she's
she
taking
really
the Biden pills.
They're feeding him a bunch of garbage so he'll lose his memory, and she's eating it too, apparently.
But the stuff she says and how she tries to be philosophical and says the same thing, but in 3 different ways, and and all that. I mean,
right? She just goes on and on and on and says nothing. Nothing.
Now, she started off well here. Look at the interview. The host is at the end of it. I don't know where she was going. Kevin calls him Dumb and Dumber. Here you go.
You know, every election cycle we talk about this is the most election of our lifetime. Lawrence, this one is. This one is. We are literally talking about people who are attempting to divide our country in the most crude, frankly, and profound way. We are talking about those who are intent and purposeful to attack fundamental freedoms, be it the freedom to make a decision about your own body, the freedom to love who you love openly and with pride, the freedom to be free from fear of violence and hate, the freedom to just be. Freedom to just be. You know, every election cycle we talk about this.
The freedom to just be.
Yeah, just be. I agree with Jeannie. She looks stoned or something. I mean, really, that is not normal.
Dumb and bummer.
Freedom to just be in a 15-minute city.
No, we've got this thing going on. Free. Oh my God.
Free tyranny, everybody.
Kevin says you should not do gummies before an interview. Probably not.
Clearly, she does. I mean, she does act like that because she was not smart before, but now she goes on and she goes on, and then everybody, and then on, and she says nothing.
And she talks really slow so she can kind of figure out what she's going to say next.
Because she doesn't know.
I mean, next, Chris.
Right.
Next. Next means next.
Next.
The power to just be free.
Just be free.
To just be free.
Yes. Kevin's calling her
next.
Gummy Bear Cammy. I like that. That's her new word, Gummy Bear Cammy.
She sounds like a drunk kindergarten teacher from.
Yes, for sure.
Chris says Big Mike has too much baggage right now to be ready to run for next year, maybe 2028.
Yeah.
Do you mean that literally?
Yeah, too much. Get it? TWO.
Too much baggage. Anyway.
Yeah. But Paul's right. She does look drugged. And the best thing ever is that she does look like a drunk or a stoned kindergarten teacher. That's exactly how she's acting.
No, it is. Those are the kind of things that's happening in this day. There's your leadership. Welcome to America.
She talks like a 60s hippie without like all the tie-dye and stuff.
Yeah,
just
good
the
point.
freedom to be, just be.
Another nickname for the two of them, Buck and Suck.
Buck and Suck.
Hey now, yeah, baby. Welcome to Cancel This. CancelThisShow.com. Troy says balls baggage. That's kind of where I was going.
Yeah,
with
that's
that.
where I think so too.
Twang. Donna's on her old twang and twit.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a bunch of names that could be going on right there.
Guys, thanks for watching, listening to the show. Remember to like, subscribe, share the show. Let people know what we do here Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central, and all the time on our website, cancelthisshow.com. We're grateful for the partners that we have here on the show as well. Amini's in the Chesterfield Valley. You're not going to find a better traditional or infrared sauna, saltwater hot tubs. And they're also damn affordable now. And for your health, and from health conscious people, it makes sense. Blood circulation, staying away from sickness, longevity, people living longer. There's now all kinds of scientific evidence of why being in a sauna every day is helping people live longer, taking away heart issues and problems and helping clear up the body. Experienced real estate partners, of course, Kathy Helbig Strict and Steve Strict with New American Funding powered by Score Mortgage. You can contact these people straight through our website, cancelthisshow.com. We have all the links there for you. They come on Wednesdays. They advise you, and they have been, and they've shown for over a year why they're so damn good at what they do, the best at what they do. When it comes to cannabis products, and Joe will agree with this, Route 66 is your best place to go. 5 locations throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area. They've also got the Ostera brand line in 100 or hundreds of stores across the state. Solar City STL. Don't call anywhere else. Call Solar City STL. They've got a long list of people who are happy with the job that they have done, that they're happy with the decision that they made. Give them a call. Get a quote. There's no pressure. Go to quote. See if it makes sense for you to get off the governmental grid. So many people worried about being on the grid. Plus, saving money. The system paying for itself over time as well, and you picking up those savings right now as well. Strategic Air Services in the Chesterfield Valley, where we broadcast live out of Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central. Premier private transportation providers and all things aviation, from aircraft management to concierge services and acquisition. And of course, we also have WeQuip, a peer-to-peer rental marketplace where renters literally go and search for items that they need that they may not be able to buy. Their neighbor, they can't borrow from their neighbors. There's all kinds of things there. You can rent products for a day. You can rent them for a week. You can rent them for a month. And of course, you can put your own items on there and make some money in the process. And of course, Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley with their great times, great food, always packed, especially during the holiday season. Just a great place to be. I'm Vic Faust with Lizzie Sparks, Pro Joe in the house as well. CancelThisShow.com. Good first hour, the fastest 2 hours in podcasting. We say it all the time, and we appreciate people doing that. I have to bring this up because while we're on the Joe Biden deal, it is interesting because Democrats, I don't know Democrats that love everything that's going on unless they're lying. But it is funny when you hear Democrats like Taraji P. Henson, super actress, super talented, super successful, complain about taxes. Just wait till you hear this out. Taraji, listen to her talk. Yet you vote for Joe Biden, yet you vote for candidates, yet you back candidates here that are all about big government and higher taxes. Check this out.
Are you thinking about it?
I'm just tired of working so hard, being gracious at what I do, getting paid a fraction of the cost. I'm tired of hearing my sisters say the same thing over and over. You get tired. I hear people go, you work a lot. Well, have to. The math ain't mathing. And when you start working a lot, you know, you have a team. Big bills come with what we do. We don't do this alone. The fact that we're up, here's a whole entire team behind us. They have to get paid. So when you hear someone saying, oh, such and such made $10 million, no, that's not, that didn't make it to their account. Know that off the top, Uncle Sam is getting 50%.
That's right.
Okay? So do the math. Now we have 5 million. Your team is getting 30% or whatever your team is off of what you grossed.
Sometimes
not
more.
after what Uncle Sam took. Now do the math. So
You're tired.
I'm only human, and it seems every time I do something and I break another glass ceiling, when it's time to renegotiate, I'm at the bottom again, like I never did what I just did, and I'm just tired. I'm tired. I'm tired.
I get that.
Welcome to the club.
Oh my gosh, her math ain't mathing. Her math ain't mathing. And people in the chat
Math
line are
ain't
saying,
mathin', yo.
cry me a river, you Biden supporter. I mean, come on. It's like, give me a break. I mean, how dumb are you? You're black
Entitled.
and entitled, and yet you keep voting for the person who hates you. Biden hates black people.
We're just here to try to help. I mean,
come on. That is ridiculous. That is victim. I'm just
that
math
is,
ain't
thank
mathing.
you. It's victim mentality,
it
entitlement
really is.
mentality. And clearly she isn't intelligent if she's going to continue to support Joe Biden and Democrats who want big government and taxes. Yeah. Math ain't mathin', and it's not going to math when you have Joe Biden there.
No.
Bottom line, this administration put you where you're at. Cry me a river.
Yes. Yep. Cry me a river. And the best thing, everybody go out today. And when you go to the grocery store and you have $75, but your bill comes up to 80, literally stand in Schnucks or Piggly Wiggly or wherever and go, my math ain't mathin'. Do you think they're going to give you that?
She's like, I just can't do this. I make $50 million.
My math
and
ain't
half of
mathin'.
it goes to Uncle Sam, and then my team takes 30%.
Oh, my math ain't mathin'.
The problem with that too is the fact not only is she not intelligent enough, and it doesn't take a lot of intelligence to realize who is doing this to me. Well, the same government and people you're voting for.
Yes.
Why aren't you calling out Joe Biden?
Correct.
Why aren't you calling out Kamala Harris? And then how dare her bring the color of her skin into the mix?
Correct.
Which has
Give me a
nothing
break.
to do with anything. Every time I break a ceiling, the man just on me.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the man's name is Joe Biden.
Correct.
The man's name is the Democratic Party.
Oh.
Taraji, I'm sorry. Life is so bad. I'm sorry that you feel what other Americans feel.
Oh, I'm going to send her a binky and a Kleenex and tell her to go take a nap. And Kevin says this is the epitome of an oxymoron. I mean, that's for sure. He didn't call her a moron, but kind of.
She still has $4 million after taxes.
Oh. Just give me a break.
I didn't know she was acting. I'm like, come on.
I think she was acting.
I was like, come on, this can't be real. She's complaining about how much money she makes and then acting like it's because of the color of her skin.
Right.
That's what that whole interview was about again.
Yes.
It was the man. The man keep me down.
Oh, how do you say her name again?
Taraji, Taraji, P. Henson. Super, super talented. I mean, very talented. Hidden Figures, What Men Want. She's been in a lot of things. No Good Deed. Super actress, super talented, and super entitled. Or
Very
super
entitled.
uneducated.
Both. And that's worse. That you're uneducated, uninformed, not very smart, and entitled. That's a real problem in our society. That's half of our country right now. I'm
sorry.
But my math ain't mathin', Vic.
Math ain't mathin'.
My math ain't. And she didn't say math. It's my math. My math ain't mathin'.
Oh, math? I didn't.
Math. She means math. The first time she said her math ain't mathin', but then she goes, my math ain't mathin'.
Oh, my God.
That's ridiculous.
I just had to, once again, the levity side of things. There she is. Welcome to 2024 and what people think they should get and what they're actually getting right now.
Right. Right. When I go to the store today, my math ain't mathin' either, but cry me a river. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going to cry all the way to the grocery store. I think I'm going to call
Jay
her
says,
after the
sorry,
show.
I can't pronounce the made-up name you have.
Yeah.
Donna says, the brain ain't braining.
Both of our Donnas on the chat line are cracking me up.
It's
a comedy hour on the chat line.
That's a great one for Biden. The brain ain't braining.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Derek says it's Ebonics. Math, M-A-F-F ain't mathin'.
Right. It is.
Her English ain't Englishing. Cancel the show.com. Like, subscribe, share the show. We appreciate it, guys. Let people know what we're doing. You can like and jump in on all the platforms. We also have that merchandise site as well. Hats, shirts, cups. Cancel this coffee, cancel this show.com. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, they are cracking
Mary
me up.
says can't get nothing at the grocery store these days.
Can't get nothing.
Okay, this is all based upon because of Taraji saying maffin. Math ain't maffin.
Yes.
Which led into nothing.
Nothing. Her math ain't be mathing, but none of us that make $4 million. Mary's exactly right. We got nothing.
Well, it's interesting. Lori says she's the black version of Megan Rapinoe. Or Megan Rapinoe.
Oh, yeah. I've never paid that much of attention to her, but that makes sense by what she was just saying.
And by the way, all merch is shipped according to Derek as well. Chris says, I've seen better acting in a fourth grade Christmas play than what she did in that interview.
I agree.
Yeah. Now know what I'm saying. Okay.
No,
I won't leave it.
I mean, we could just go on. We could just literally, for the next hour and a half, read the chat line because they are laughing so much. So for any of you that are listening this on a podcast and wondering why we're laughing so hard, maybe you can go back after the show or after the podcast and go to the Facebook version because we've got real comedians on the chat line.
Yeah, to see the chat line. Yeah, because I got to see the math ain't maffin'.
Yeah.
And she's upset with 50%. And guess what? There's a reason. I'm just going to let you know this. This is why capitalism is wonderful, because you have an opportunity to change your life every single day. It's not easy and it's not always going to work, and more businesses fail than succeed, but at least you have a chance. Why do you think more people who bust their ass and make money in business are Republicans? Why do you think that they're conservatives? Because they don't want to bust their ass and then give it all to the government.
Yeah, who wants that?
Eric Johnson, our very own Eric Johnson, here on Fridays, became a conservative because he opened a business and said, what? You're taking how much money?
What?
And he became a conservative.
Yeah.
Taraji, just come on over.
Yeah, come on over.
And start fighting against Joe Biden if you can get past the color of skin, which should have no meaning on anything in life.
Correct.
And have at it and try to get good people in office. By the way, nobody is oppressed in 2023.
Correct.
Okay. That's the biggest farce. You're not oppressed. You can accomplish anything in the year 2020. The scale is wide open for anybody to do whatever they want in the year 2023. So don't even go down the road of oppression, and nobody's oppressed, at least in America in 2023. Especially black people. Come on now. And you're not oppressed. No. Anybody can accomplish anything right now. Now, there are upbringings that I will give you that make it much more difficult from where you start. But where you finish is clearly up to you.
That's right. And we've said this before on the show. You could be a white person, Hispanic, Black, whoever, and it's the environment at which you grow up makes it more difficult for you just at the beginning. But then after that, anyone can make it no matter where you came from.
Megan says oppression at this point in time is a choice.
I agree with Megan.
It really
oppression is a choice. It is a choice.
Lisa says, girl, Taraji, we welcome your red-pilled self over to our side.
100%.
Come on over. You're super talented. You are.
Yes.
You deserve your money. The government does not.
Yeah. We welcome her with open arms. Even with her nothingness and her maffin, we still would like her to wake up.
I don't even care about that.
We're just being funny because I don't care about that either. I really don't. I think it's funny because the people on the chat line thought it was funny.
Roland says Biden's oppressing my finances.
Oh, Roland is smart. He is. Roland is smart.
Donna says some of those famous millionaire rappers have started out at the bottom with nothing. Yeah.
Correct.
And then they learn business.
Yes, I agree. And that was what made America great, is that everyone, no matter, the melting pot is a beautiful thing of every race just making it and shaking it and doing really great. And now this oppression BS is exactly to Dr. George's point was, everybody can make it if they want to, but the Marxism regime that's running our country has split us and divides us on everything, literally on everything.
Yeah, well, there's one thing that shouldn't be dividing us in any way right now, and it's what's happening at the border. And we literally have something every day. It continues to get worse. Check out some of the video that's happening right now. Did you have you're out of the videos, Joe? Then I didn't send it. I thought I sent you a video of migrants, illegal aliens who were being airplaned.
Was that yesterday?
No, it was today. Maybe it didn't. Yeah, maybe it didn't go through. It didn't go through. I'm sorry, but I'll try to find it again. Here's what's happening. Governor Abbott in Texas, who has really been put between a rock and a hard place with his state being overrun. I mean, that's ground zero for the invasion that is currently taking place. They're now flying illegal aliens to sanctuary cities.
They sure
Hey,
are.
desperate times call for desperate measures. And you know what? If you claim to be a sanctuary city, which you did, and you got out and you got that megaphone out and you started telling them, we're a sanctuary city, we love everybody, you're welcome here. And then everybody starts showing up, and now you're like, oh shit, we need help.
They don't like it.
Now they don't want anybody there, and it's hurting the local. It's interesting seeing in Chicago, the Black community getting loud.
Yes.
And pissed off.
Very loud.
Because their resources are being eaten up in the city by all the illegals. Yeah. That's right. The illegals. And it's happening in New York, and it's happening in Boston, and it's happening in Minneapolis, and it's happening in Dallas, and it's happening in Phoenix. The resources are being eaten up. It's coming. The problems are here, and they're getting worse.
They sure are. They're getting worse and worse and worse. And who it's hitting is these cities. And they were like, oh, everybody can come here. You can all come here. And what's interesting to me is the revelation of the Texas governor now flying them out. He should have done that a long time ago. I know that he was bussing them out, but now they're like flying them out in droves.
You got to do what you got to do.
I agree.
The first 120 illegal aliens were flown into Chicago. Chicago's losing their mind. You know what? Deal with it, Chicago.
Yeah.
It's your fault. You elected the leaders that you did. Lori Lightfoot started it. Then you had somebody worse than Lori Lightfoot, maybe not on the intelligence spectrum, but in regards to the decision making. And now your city is getting overrun, and you deserve it. You get everything that you get is karma. Yeah. And guess what? Congratulations. You wanted to open your mouth. You wanted to say we're a sanctuary city. You wanted to say, come into this country illegally. And now you don't want it because you got what you wanted.
Correct. And they didn't understand that. That just shows you they thought they were above what could really happen, or they didn't really understand the severity of it, what it would did to the country. Either cases, it was like years ago, even just 2-3 years ago, how did you not see that this was going to be a problem? But, we love everybody, and we're going to have everybody come here. And they don't understand that the crime is going to be bigger because they don't send their best and their brightest over here. These countries open up their insane asylums and their prisons and send them our way.
Well, the problem is you get normal people wanting a better life because of where they were born. But then you also get the felons.
Yes.
And you get the problems that come in with it, which is why you have to do it in a vetted form, which is why there is law and order for a reason. And the Democratic Party has proven time and time again, they're not for law and order. They're for all of the illegals invading this country. And if they tell you they're not, well, I'm not for that. Well, then did you vote for Biden? Are you out as a politician? Are you out as somebody that is trying to stop it right now? Are you going public? No, because they're worried about holding their seats. That's why. That's how you can tell who a true politician is, whether they're lying, being honest, or whatever the case is. Joe, what were you going to say something, bud?
Oh, I was going to talk about the video that I sent you. I put it in the group chat about some of the illegal aliens that are complaining about the living situation and stuff at some of the hotels that they're like, you know, they're taking over these hotels, and then they're going to bitch about, you know, the living situation there.
And can you play that video? That's really good.
I don't know where I don't know.
It's really good because they are demanding. That video that you sent was really good, Joe.
Well, Joe, I just sent you video of these immigrant / illegal aliens, which is what they are, being sent to Chicago. And it needs to be done more and more. The first thing I thought of was, okay, how is Texas paying for this? Is it all right? I'm sure it's cheaper to fly these people out than to have to try to come up with resources, because this is what's taxing the system. This is what we've been talking about this show for a year. There's going to be a price to pay. We're paying one now, and it's going to get worse. It's not stopping. It is getting worse. Let me show you the video. These are migrants, illegal aliens coming into our country, getting tickets to Chicago, getting them out of Texas. And Abbott's got to do what Abbott's got to do. There is not a damn thing wrong with what he is doing. Shame on Chicago and these other cities, liberal cities, by the way, for saying they're sanctuary cities and that they're going to accept all these illegal. They're illegal. Illegal means against the law. Yet we try to say that lie over and over again. We as this country, oh, they're all right. They're all right. We got to accept them. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with accepting people. Don't let people change the narrative. So many times, even when you're talking to people in daily life, people will try to change the topic. They'll try to change the race. It's like, no, stay focused, person. Stay focused on the main issue that we're talking about first. Don't let it bleed into other things. We're staying focused on the main issue. That's what politics and liberal politics has become. We're not going to focus on it. We're going to bleed up. You know, if you're driving and you start to swerve off and that's what's happening. They try to swerve off the topic into, well, let's go to the hard issue of this. No, that's what's happening.
Yeah, it's so sad. But sometimes people do just have to see the videos because it may not be affecting them in their little bubble. And they're not watching shows like ours because they don't really believe it's happening until it's right in their back door.
That's why I think Governor Abbott's the most accomplished governor in the country right now, because of being forced to be and what he is trying to do. I mean, being put between that rock and hard place with all those people.
Yes.
Millions of people coming through Texas and, of course, Arizona. But Texas being the main part and what they're doing to that state.
It's awful what they're doing.
And you talk to people in Texas and they tell you what's going on. And then we had people, we're more worried in the St. Louis area, and we'll get to that video in just a second. It was a comment that somebody made. Yeah, there was an officer that ran a car in the St. Louis area into a bar.
Yes.
And, you know, Governor Parson said, hey, show the video of everything. And I agree with Governor Parson. Not sure why St. Louis Police Department isn't showing the video. But that's more important, and people are more concerned about that than they are what's happening at the border.
Well, and bigger than that is it's gotten legs and it's walked off. What you're talking about, when the police officer did that, it's now become all about the LGBT community. And we've got all of the officials in St. Louis City now going, oh my gosh, those police officers just hate gay people because they targeted the police officer on purpose, ran into that. So now that's taken off. They just make stuff up.
Well, and that's why we say try to stay focused. Here's the video that you asked for, Lizzie, when it comes to what's happening. Yeah, when illegals don't like what they're getting here. And then I've got a follow up to us on this story that is going to blow your mind.
Hundreds of asylum seekers are protesting living conditions.
We demand Biden, the administration, that he listened to the people.
New York City is using the 28-story, 1,300-room luxury hotel as a shelter for migrants.
Most of those families didn't like what they saw and refused to stay there.
Sometimes the food smells bad. It's not a case of what my children like or don't like. If the food was edible.
People complaining about a lack of heat and beds.
Unsatisfied with the housing, he says there are not enough bathrooms and they have to walk outside of the relief center to find them.
A recreation room with multiple TVs, plush couches, telephones for calling home, Xboxes, foosball tables, and games. Migrants have a cafeteria with condiments on the table. There's even bottled water and soft drinks in coolers.
The people who work inside don't respect us. There is no food, nowhere to sleep, and we are having a bad time.
Mayor Adams implies the migrants are just being picky.
Duh.
These are your future voters, Biden.
Yes.
You better take care of them.
And what ingrates? They come over here. They are not entitled to come in here. If we try to come into their countries, we'd be put in jail. They come here because someone's telling them. It's on their chat lines there. Biden and Cammie opened the door for them to come in. And now they don't like the type of bottled water even. And they have games and comfy couches and they complain. What I would say is get the hell out and go back where you're from and stay the hell over there and get out of here.
In all fairness, that couch didn't look too comfy. It had some some stains on it.
Who cares?
I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not
David
saying
said that New York hotel was one of his favorites at one point in time.
Yes. He used to travel and would go there. Now it's a shit show, and it was absolutely beautiful before.
America is last right now. The problem is getting worse. I know. Here's the thing: when you look at it, it's so messy and it's so complicated. The average human just wants to turn away. I get it. You're like, I don't want to. I got my own issues. I got my own. Well, this is your issue.
Yeah,
it'll be on your front doorstep.
This is my issue. This is everybody's issue.
Yes.
And don't let. And I remember saying this a year ago, and I'm going to say it again now. Don't let what's happening be forgotten. You have to remember this sits right at the feet of Joe Biden. Things were in a much better, like 10,000 times better when Trump was in office. And we were trying to put up a wall and we were monitoring the border. And people who work the border have told us how drastically things changed when Trump left. And then now you see the free for all. So then if you have the free for all and you're not going to change the problem, then you change the messaging. And then you try to have all these other, we're going to indict Trump. We're going to leave him off the ballot. Let's get people to not talk about the immigration problem. The immigration problem in itself should destroy every single liberal politician for backing it. Yet people don't want to talk about it because it's not fun. It's not nice. This is as salacious as it should be instead of this bullshit Colorado courtroom stuff. You've got a president who, as vice president, was committing crimes right and left with payments with his son.
Mm-hmm.
Yet you're trying to control the media. You're trying to control Washington. These are the problems that are massive. It's not getting any better. It's going to buckle us. And this is by design.
That's the
These people are not leaving the country.
No.
If you continue to add over and over and over again, like I said before, Robert gave me credit. I appreciate that, Robert, because I dealt with this once. I'll never forget. I moved into a new house. And I'm like, what the hell is that? There's a water spot on the side of my wall. Sure enough, you had to cut out the wall to see what was going on. Oh, the carpenter had a nail in the pipe. There was a water leak.
Oh my gosh.
So until you cut out the wall and took out the damn nail and repaired the pipe, could you start to fix the problem? Until you do, it just continues to get worse. The water continues to worse. The illegal aliens continue to come into the country, and there's no sight of fixing this issue.
No.
And it's being done on purpose. And America is getting what they deserve for our laziness, our lack of looking to God, and our lack of being in a situation where, hey, we've got to be proactive to make sure that the good that we have is something that we're going to continue to have. And you have to work for that. You don't just all of a sudden become champion and then it's over.
Correct. You got to keep fighting.
My high school football coach told me, and for whatever reason, there's certain things in life that hit us. And this is the first time. I knew this already, and a lot of us know this, but my junior year, we won the state football championship. The first day when we came back with another absolutely loaded team for the next year, the first day we had our first team meeting, he proceeded to rip us and remind us that it's harder to stay a champion, much harder than it is to become one.
Correct.
America has been a champion. We're no longer a champion because we don't want to be.
Correct.
And we're lazy and we're entitled and we expect things. And a lot of that's just out of natural life.
Yeah.
You get used to certain things that are easy. And now we're going to lose it. And as Robert said earlier in the chat line, it's going to take a monumental event.
Yes.
A loss event, a tragic event, a tragic situation that could be a year, 2 years, 3 years for Americans to wake up.
Correct.
We're going to have to lose everything before we gain it. Now, people who have things don't want to hear this. This is not fun to listen to.
No.
But it's truth. And you're always going to get truth for us because, as we say, you can't have anything in life, much less a relationship, unless you have truth first.
Correct. That's absolutely right. Everything you just said is absolutely right. Americans have gotten lazy and they can just turn on a different program if they don't like the one that's telling you the truth and listen to what they want to hear. And then in the end, they're going to be in big trouble. Like you said, it could be a year from now. It could be 3 years from now. And when Donald Trump referenced, Abe Lincoln before, when that happened to him, people took up arms and we had a civil war. I think that should happen again, but I think most of the people that are of the age that would take up arms or would do things are too lazy and don't already see the severity. Now, I'm not saying I want anyone to go out and shoot anyone, and I don't want a civil war. I don't. But that's what scares me is if there would be one because of all the divisiveness, who's going to defend us?
I think they've done everything that they've planned on doing by... the people who are of age to actually fight for this country are too busy worried about what's between their legs.
Gosh, that is such a good point.
Can you repeat that?
Say it again.
Say
it again.
The people of age to fight for this country are too busy worrying about what's between their legs instead of the freedoms that are being stripped from them.
Correct. And you could take that many different ways, that they're so busy Netflix and chilling, or they're worried, are they a boy or are they a girl? And everybody's gotten so soft. And that's what frightens me is this is the same thing that's going on, what happened in Abe Lincoln's time. But our men and women are different than they were back then.
No, they are. Joe, I just sent you a picture as well. And what are we worried about? We're worried about salacious things because that's what Americans have been. Salacious. We want salacious and all of those things that are going on. And then what's happening while this is going on with our border and our families and crime. We have the bullshit that was happening in DC, sex tapes being made, gay sex tapes being made. Oh, you already put that up.
Sorry, I thought that I was going to put it up immediately.
No, that's all right.
My bad, I can take it.
No, put it back up. This was sent to me. With the sex tapes.
Yeah.
Senate Democrats putting the D in democracy since 1828.
Anybody that cannot see that, it's not maybe as funny or as gross all at the same time.
No, I'll bring something up. You can keep that up for a second. Because this is emulating the sex tape that was made in the hearing room, the Senate. And guess what, guys? This just broke. There's another video. Capitol Police are now investigating a second sex video.
Of course they are.
That is getting ready to come out. And that's why we show you that picture. This is what's happening. I guess nobody should be surprised by that.
No.
So,
and there's two reasons this is going on, Vic. There's two. One, the depravity that is endorsed in the Democrat Party, and look at everybody in Biden's administration. So this extra tape should not surprise us at all. And also, why are these coming out exactly now? It's a diversion to things that are going on in Colorado.
Exactly. And at the border.
Yeah, and at the border.
And the Biden crime family syndicate, the issues that are going on. Once again, these are not us just throwing darts at the wall. These are major issues that are going on. And as Lisa says, yet J6 people are still in jail and being followed by our air marshals who are not protecting airplanes, which we talked about at the beginning of the week. So we're going to have to wait and see what's happening with the second sex tape. Once again, the new toy, we follow over here, go follow this, go follow this. It's done on purpose. Somebody's in charge. Somebody's getting paid a lot of money to do this. Do not get lost. Okay, we see it. It's bad. It's going on. But don't let it put you in a situation where you forget about everything else that's going on.
Correct. And you know what, Vic? As to Joe's point earlier, that our people of today are worrying more between what's in their legs and all of that kind of stuff. It's almost like the Democrat Party hire these people on purpose and create this sort of mess. So this is what they can fall back on when they're trying to distract people. That's how immoral our country has become.
Deflection at its finest,
absolutely,
according to Paul. Yes,
yep,
correct.
Paul's right.
Release the tapes
for J6. That's the tapes we want. These sex tapes are just funny to talk about.
I thought we've gotten the tapes released, but not as many as we're supposed to.
Correct. We don't have them all.
With Mike Johnson, who said he would release the tapes.
And even when you release them, though, none of the Republicans fight hard enough to get them out. This isn't just, we know the Democrats are mean. We know that. But where are the Republicans? And I know this is not a J6 show right now, but it always goes back to, where are you, Republicans? Where are you?
You don't want to know where the Republicans are.
I probably really don't, do I? I probably don't.
Because I've been telling you, I don't trust them.
I don't trust them either.
And it's
Some of them are in a back room taking money.
You betcha.
From Democrats.
But if they're not in a back room taking money, they're just being silly and they're getting run over if they really think that they can make things change and happen. Because I have met some Republican politicians over the years who have this heart. Well, you've got to work with Democrats. And yes, you do.
You do.
And this is the true problem, the quagmire, if you will. You've got to go across aisles to get things done.
Correct.
But if you do, that's going to take you giving up something, and maybe giving up something first, trusting that the left or the Democrat person is going to repay that.
And they don't.
And most of the time I'm being told that they don't.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is this word, Joe, blackmailed. Because unless people know who they are and they stay the straight and narrow and don't get conceited and start to get full of themselves, they will be in a situation where they get blackmailed.
Very true.
And that is the number one situation to keep people out of politics or to keep them in politics and under the control of the deep state.
Very true. Oh, very, very true.
Think about that. And yes, we would love the freaking tapes, all the tapes from January 6th, if there's that many more.
Yes, we want them all. And then after we get them, we want somebody to do something about them and free grandma that just was sightseeing in the Capitol because she was told by a police officer to come in. Free the grandmas, free the single dads, free the moms that are all in there, free them. And you know what? No one is even in there, including President Trump, for insurrection. That's not what they're in there for. They're for trespassing. And you don't go in the Huskow with no trial for trespassing. Give me a break. Give me a break.
It's another issue. These are all things that are starting to come through. And it's just like, okay, oh, yeah, we're back to border. Oh, we're doing this. Oh, we've heard about the border for so long. We need something else now. Oh, Washington, D.C. sex tapes. That's a lot more interesting to talk about.
Correct.
I'm telling you, it's America's a country of sensationalism, the salacious details, reality show. It's here. I'm sorry. You get programmed with messaging. You get programmed with highlights. You get programmed with certain reels. You get programmed to think this way. And then you're bored unless you get that ooh factor. Like, oh, yeah, I'd rather talk about that than talk about these other issues that are down there. Sherry says we all watched Ozark. We know how it's done. Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's a lot of truth to that, what she just said, for sure.
I'll be interested to see who's in this sex tape or a second one. I am just to see. I mean, once again, just like we know with the list of Epstein names, I think it's now 150.
Yeah.
Initially, the list was 177 or 170. Now, allegedly, for sure, 150 are supposed to be released. I don't know.
Well, and Gary said something on the chat line, which is interesting because I'm keep hearing it from different sources that there is a sex tape of Lindsey Graham and they're just waiting to put that out. Don't know if that's true, but that's going on in the rumor mill right now.
Yeah, you got to keep your pants up.
You got to keep your pants up and keep them zipped too. Keep them zipped. keep it in there and zip your pants.
If there is, and not to say that there is one.
Yeah, we're not saying that there is. That's just.
But I'm just telling you, if you ever accomplish anything, or you have a platform, and even if you don't, or if you're upsetting somebody with conservative ideals, conservative values, don't think for a second you're not going to be a target for people.
Correct.
And just because you wouldn't do anything to somebody else does not mean that they won't do something to you.
We know that's true. I mean, that happens. You good people are often victimized by a bad person with malintent just because you didn't do something you wanted them to do.
And attacked. And they'll try to set you up, and it'll be over a long period of time. And that's why you have to stay on the straight and narrow.
You do.
Especially when it comes to the sexual side for these people that do some of those things, because and And then if you turn down opportunities, if you're in politics or have platform, or if somebody tries to get you to do something or get you to do something bad and you won't do it, then you have to continue to just stay away from those situations.
You do.
Because they'll continue to try to set you up if you don't accept advances.
Correct. And that happens in any line of work. You have to be very careful because those that are going to set you up are very patient and they'll wait a long time to get you.
The greatest
anyone.
Well, the greatest generation that we talk about is the generation that would understand this, as Chris says, hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. Weak men create hard times. It's all cyclical. And we're in the time of weak men creating hard times.
Boom. That's exactly right.
And it makes sense. Much better than the slogan for a friend of mine who owns a marijuana company. You know what their slogan is?
What's their slogan?
Joe can appreciate this. Happy people make happy plants, and happy plants make happy people.
There you go. You can compare that to what Chris said. There you go.
I saw that as the slogan, just giving you a little laughter for that. I'm like, oh my God, that's funny. But Chris's comment, the quote, I've read that before, is so true.
It is very true.
And it's sad because, we're at an age where, we appreciate what we've had, and we didn't have all this crap in the 80s. We really didn't.
We really didn't.
And we didn't have it in the 90s. And a lot of what we have seen happen now has just been in the last, 9 years, 8 years. And then specifically, the real horrible side of things have come in the last 3 years.
Correct.
And it's at a super fast pace that none of us are ready for. None of us should be dealing with, but it is. And Robert says, my quote is true about plants.
I wonder what that says about me. I kill all plants. I don't mean to, but I guess, that says something about me.
Well, I was specifically talking about marijuana plants.
I know.
Okay, I was just making sure.
Yeah, I don't have those either. But any plant, I kill them.
It's hard not to make a happy marijuana plant, though.
Derek says he'd love to go back to the 80s. We all would, especially with what we're dealing with right now. Politics was different. People were different. But once again, there is an effort. Don't ever forget. Number one, there is a deep state. Number two, a deep state to destroy America. You can't destroy America from without. You destroy it from within. And it's happening. And they're winning. And I'm not going to get all religious on people, but America, in a large part, has turned its back on God. They have. Right. People can agree with me, can disagree. I don't care. I've seen it and I've watched it. And the things that we've allowed in this country and tried to philosophize as it being all right and okay. And let's just look on to something. When you turn your back on God throughout history, bad things happen. It just does. And, that's just my humble opinion. And that's what I see happening in this country, not being protected as we once were.
I can't say the same about wanting to go back to the 80s because, well, I think every other week there was a plane being hijacked and trickle-down economics. Yeah, it was good times then, too.
There were some tough times. I guess I was much younger than in high school, and I didn't have to deal with all that. My parents were the one dealing with that.
What were trickle-down economics?
Well, it was similar to what's happening now, that the economy was bad and the gas prices shot back up. And
well, that was early 80s.
True.
Well, it was supposed to be like all this money that our taxes went to, it would trickle back down to us, but it would get spent at the top, but then trickle down, we get the leftovers.
Correct.
Well, I remember the 80s, especially mid to late 80s, as being pretty good with companies being grown and money being grown.
The taxes were out. They were out. They were crazy.
Well, in the early 80s, absolutely. I remember that.
I think it was Reagan that had the trickle down economics.
I don't know. I disagree on plane being hijacked every other week, and I mean
it was very common in the 80s. It definitely happened a lot more in the 80s. Since since then, there really hasn't been any. Are you saying you'd rather
hijacked. You think things are better now than they were in the 80s?
I'm saying that they really are just different.
I could not.
I think it's just a little. No, I mean I think that we're definitely at a pinnacle point in history. And I do think that things are definitely worse now, but I don't think the 80s were, I wouldn't say better. About, a little bit.
Do you remember parachute pants?
Oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Come on.
And the
music,
the Marxism has been
Miami Vice. Come on.
Right.
No, that was good stuff. But I mean, Marxism's been coming since at least the 1920s, but it was just little. You talk about trickling. It was a little by little by little. But then when Trump started to come and they knew he was going to expose it, it's been accelerating. And each year it gets faster and faster and faster. So we notice it more. They tried to hide the crap prior to Trump. And a lot of us didn't know what was going on. And Trump exposed it all. Literally, if he did nothing else, he's revealed the darkness that's now coming to light. And you can take that religiously, or you can take it just the facts of the evil.
Chris says, just change happy with docile.
Yeah.
And that's what the push for recreational endorsed by the state now.
Very true. They do want people to be docile.
Well, I think that there's a lot more awakening happening from that movement than there is being docile.
I agree.
The same thing with the more that the deep takes on Trump, the more the deep tries to take down Don, the more positivity is happening for him.
Because I mean, if you want to say that that's making people docile, I wouldn't consider myself exactly docile.
No.
And I'm definitely very much into
but there is a push for that.
Oh yeah, for sure. They want us to be docile, but I don't think the
happy.
recreational use has a lot to do with that at all. I don't think that's making people docile at all.
I think it's making our youth docile. I think people of our age are waking up greatly, but I think a lot of our youth
I agree.
is still docile, and they
are.
and it looks like our youth is sweet and kind in some ways, but they're really just brainwashed by what they see in social media and their schools and their colleges these days. I think, Joe, you're right in the fact that us that are 40s, 50s, 60s, we are fired up and mad and want to do something about it. But the generation behind us thinks we have tinfoil hats and they just want to chill, man. They just want to chill and play some video games and buy their groceries from Amazon.com and buy Whole Foods and have it come to their door.
Until things are taken away, until things
then
get
they'll
tough.
be pissed.
And that's
maybe
why
I
it's
took that
tougher
wrong.
on parents too.
Maybe I took that wrong when he said recreational endorsement. I'm thinking of marijuana and them saying that recreational marijuana is making the youth docile.
Maybe
which,
I didn't take it that way.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Maybe I took that because I saw the words recreational endorsement and I was thinking along the marijuana.
Well, and like Paula is saying, tech, social media and tech, and she's an educator, is making our kids numb. That's a really good analogy. They're numb. That is just a profound word, because if you look at a lot of our youth, they are numb. And that's sad. And
it's a variety of reasons. Number one, education, but as I always say on the show,
yes.
And for any new listeners, look at all the crap they have to deal with.
I do. I feel sorry for our youth. I do.
There's so much going on, so much. You try to protect a kid as our brain develops, and kids, in my humble opinion, should be protected.
I agree.
And not thrown a lot of things at them, because that can have psychological effects for the rest of their life. And you can go on thinking that everything's fine until something eventually blows up down the road.
Correct.
More is being thrown at kids, more in this society
than ever before.
And it's on purpose.
It is on purpose.
And those are the problems that we're dealing with at home, which is what makes being a parent, in my humble opinion, more difficult than it has ever been before as well. Well, it's not just the kids, it's the parenting.
Yes.
Because it is so damn difficult unless all the parents are on the same wavelength. But then there's so many issues that can divide parents and how they teach, and kids and peer pressure. Now you've added the issues that you've had in the past with all the new ones on top of it.
Yes. And that's what they're doing, Vic, is they're attacking the parents. I saw some liberal channel I was flipping through yesterday that was really attacking dads, and was attacking dads for being, have you noticed the dads these days are just so present, and what are they doing and what's wrong with these dads? They're attacking dads in a big, big way. They want the dads to be away from their children.
Well, of course, the society, you need strong men.
You do.
The number one way is to attack the issue of being a strong masculine man.
Correct.
This society would fail without strong masculine men. That does not mean the men are not respectful to their wives or women. That just means it's been the way of life and how we are supposed to be. I'm sorry. Yes, women are equal to men, but that doesn't mean men are out building the infrastructure of this world. They're cleaning the sewers. They're the truck drivers. That doesn't mean a woman can't do it. It means the men are doing it. That doesn't mean a woman can't be involved, and there are women in construction, but men, as we know, it is a role, and there's nothing sexist, misogynist with saying that.
No.
You take the men away for all the women that think that they're all powerful, they can do anything and everything, they won't watch what happens.
Yes. Well, you look at any small child, and I've been around many of them. Little kids, of course, love the nurturing of the mom or the grandma or whatever. But I even see it in my granddaughter. I can come in from after work and she likes me. But the minute she sees her uncle or her grandfather or whatever, she just lights up. Children innately.
Well, it's biological.
It is biological.
That's why you need
it's
a
biological.
Man. Every kid needs a mom and a dad. Unfortunately, in society, it doesn't work. Okay, that doesn't mean you can't be successful, but it doesn't mean you got what was meant to be.
Correct. That's right. You can be successful without them both. But even if you are divorced, you can still have the strong dad and the strong mom. And it may not have been as optimal as if the parents had stayed together. But you said it exactly right. It's biological. Children want to be loved by both and to have that strong male figure, whether it's dad or an uncle or a grandpa or whoever it is. Ooh, take a deep breath.
What were you pointing to, bud? Was there something going on?
There was a headline on the TV, and it just made me think. And it's totally off subject, but I think it's New York passed some sort of law for facial recognition because of all the store thefts and stuff. So that's why they were letting people steal a bunch of stuff so they could push through facial recognition.
And that makes total sense, because that didn't make sense to me why people could just go in the store and they allowed theft and allowed theft.
Right.
But then there you go.
There it is.
That sounds like you have a tinfoil hat, but you're right there, Joe. There's always a reason they allow crime.
Yeah.
They allow that.
Well, we were wondering why they were letting them do it, and that headline just told me exactly why.
Well, it kind of plays into raising kids. Kids want discipline.
They do.
They may not think
kids
that they do,
but they do want discipline.
Discipline and order. Which obviously from parents shows that there's a caring and a loving for them, even if they don't understand it at the time.
True.
These issues, many of these issues, which are affecting the kids and parents, get back to the infiltration of this country, the takeover, the invasion, not only from the ground from illegal immigrants, but from the deep state and those trying to take away the American way of life. You don't do it overnight. It takes time. And this has been the slippery slope that we've been living. It's been the slippery slope we've been sliding down for decades now. And the country's been attacked on several fronts. Mm-hmm. And the number one front is not caring about America anymore. When you stop caring about the country, everything else kind of falls in line. And we've seen that from a national standpoint when it comes to messaging, when it comes to marketing, when it comes to the movies that were being made, when it came to the sitcoms, little zingers here, little zingers there, against being patriotic, against being conservative. Hollywood has had a play in it. The media has definitely had a big play in it. And and then the messaging to kids, these are the problems. It's like, oh, I don't care about it anymore. I'm going to listen to everybody, and everybody can have their opinion. But when it comes to our country, how can everybody have their own different opinion? And then you expect the country to still be going in the right direction?
Yeah, it can't go in the right direction the way it's going. It can't.
I've just never understood that. Mm-hmm. As Roland says, worked in daycare and kid programs for years. You can tell which ones don't have fathers in their lives.
That is exactly right.
And there's a lot of people who don't want to hear that truth because that truth stings. That truth will bruise you a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And it's true. As Roland knows, I worked in childcare and education for a long time. The little kids without a strong dad, you could tell.
It especially stings for those single mothers who think that they can raise a boy without a father.
Correct. It does sting. That's where,
especially if women are choosing to do that when there is a dad who is open, available, wanting, and willing.
Yes. I mean, that's a tragedy.
The tragedy is there's a lot of men who leave the women. Mm-hmm. Many more of them. And that's why I've always blamed men, because men need to be the leaders of families. Kids need to see them in church. They need to see them praying. They need to see them making the sacrifices. They need to see them, if they're with their mom or dad, loving them loving them from that standpoint. That's what kids need to see.
Well, it's statistical, where if you see a dad that goes to church or whatever the thing is, the percentage of kids following is much higher than if the mom does it. Even if the dad is in the home, if the mom leads the kids to a certain place, you might have a 50-50 split there. But if the dad does it, the kids tend to follow what dad's doing, good or bad. They tend to do that. I mean, you've got to have a strong dad.
Yeah, it's not easy.
and Bindy's saying family courts are still biased against fathers. They are, but think about who's running these courts. A lot of times they are liberal. It's influenced by social services, and they are very Democrat, and they are very weak when it comes to men and strength, even of America. I lived it for years, dealing with that sort of thing in my business, and Bindy's right on there. Family courts are still not for a pro-dad situation.
Yeah, I've experienced it. I've witnessed it. I get it depends on every family situation.
It does. That's true too. That absolutely does too.
I mean, and here's the thing: they can be that way. It just every situation is different, and not everybody knows every situation, what's going on, or all the details. But once again, it's easy. You need strong dads and strong moms. And then we need strong families. And as we were told, the whole issue, as we were kind of talking about earlier with Marxism, is to destroy the family.
Yes.
Why do you think communist countries take away an ability to have a God?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think their whole push is to not allow you to have scripture?
Yes.
Interesting, isn't it?
You can't.
We're going to take away God. That's the number one issue. Take away God. Why do you think they want to take away God? Well, I don't think I have to tell you why. I think you know. You take away God, then you take away the family. Then you're totally controlled by people, other humans, a government.
Yes. Bingo. Right there. There it is. Right
guys,
there
we appreciate you joining us. This is Kansas. Tomorrow do we have Patriots to show again today, or do we have the same ones from the other day?
It's we get them once a week.
Oh, yes. Can we show the Patriots again right now real quick? And we appreciate this comes from the marketing company. Just continue to be a part of the show. And if your name's not up there now, it's been up there in the past, or it will be up in the future. So we just say a shout out to Tracy Thede, Tanya Carnell, Joe Lynette, Brian Conway, Paul Raymond, Robbie Bazell, Joe Lynette, Ryan Higgs, Sherry Adams, and Darren Toten. Thanks for jumping in and joining us. Paul says, great show today. We appreciate it. Donna says, illegal drugs are destroying families, and liberal families don't like strong men.
That's
according
true.
to Bendy as well.
No, there's a lot of truth into that for sure.
Anyway, thanks for joining us today, guys. Free for All Friday tomorrow.
Yes.
Scott Fawn in the first hour. We'll have some fun. Eric Johnson in. I think Kelly Mano's in. Lizzie will be here. I'll be here. Joe will be here. And thank you for liking, subscribing, sharing the show. If you know of companies we can work with, let us know if you have story ideas. And of course, we appreciate any donations to help us pay our bills. We're grateful for everything because we are all trying to be self-funded and pay the bills ourselves. So guys, thanks again for joining us and making the show what it is. Cancel this. So we say goodbye for Projo, Lizzie Sparks. I'm Vic Faust. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow for our Friday Free for All podcast show.